Welcome to Sheffield Sunday as Bill sees it meeting. This is a main share meeting. And today it is with great pleasure and much gratitude that we welcome Brenda J. from Texas, who's come to share for about 40 minutes, after which we'll open up for general sharing, or if you would like to ask Brenda a question. Brenda, it is incredible to have you here, and the floor is yours.
God, I offer myself to you to build with me and to do with me as you will. Relieve me of the bondage of self that I may better do your will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I will help of your power, your love, and your way of life. May I do your will always. My name is Brenda. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Good morning. Good afternoon. I see the people in the UK scheduled this meeting when it was convenient for them. It's 7 on a Sunday morning here. Just want to point that out. And I'm happy for those of you who are experiencing this meeting after God has gotten up in the morning. I want to start with a bit of a disclaimer. I want you to know that I have given myself, even though I am imperfect, I've given myself permission to continue to still be enough. Imperfect and enough at the same time. I want you to know that I often need help maintaining a rational perspective. That I reserve the right to make mistakes, to cry, to have problems, and to not always have my answers. And it's far more important to me, rather than the time I've been here, what I'm doing with that time now. I do thank you for the invitation to be here. I'm sure I'll be much more grateful after the sun comes up here that I got a chance to do this. Look at all you. Look, I'm just going to take a little poll here. I'm going to look on page 2. Page 2. Yeah, no, people on page 2, you're going to have to bring it up a little bit. The people on page 1 look way happier. Yeah, all right, yeah. So if you're on 2, if you're on 2, come on now. I want to give a special thanks to those people on here this morning that I call friends. And you continue to support me. You continue to walk with me. You continue to be who you said you were. And I'm grateful for that. These folks that asked me to come on this meeting asked me a long time ago. Because as I said, I'm a teacher by profession, and summer just started here. And so they had to wait until I had the opportunity to be available then. So thank you. Some people get to speak for 40 minutes. By the way, can somebody give me 5? Because I have no watch and there's apparently not any clocks in the kitchen in the morning. Thank you. Some people, when they get asked to speak and they're like, okay, you got 40 minutes. They are like, oh my God, how can I ever speak for 40 minutes? I have the other problem. It's like, oh my God, how can I squeeze it all in 40 minutes? So I like to stay on topic also, you know, because I go to meetings to hear about the topic and then they don't talk about the topic. I'm not judging, I'm just reporting. And I called a friend last night. She asked me to give her the meeting number so she could get on. I didn't. I don't ever share that with people. Y'all are gonna have to tie me down to get that. So she's not here this morning, but she really wanted to be. And the reason I didn't give her the number is because I said to her, I said, man, in a moment of weakness, I agreed to do something at 7 in the morning on Sunday. I said, and to make matters worse, the topic is humility. And I said to her, I said, I'm gonna have to pull an all-nighter. And then that's when her interest peaked. Brenda, humility, 7 in the morning. Yeah, send me the numbers for that. Uh-huh. Nope. No, ma'am. No, she's not here today. We miss her. There used to be this whole thing that went around. By the way, I got sober July 3rd of 1990. Sneaking up on 34. And I don't have to be one of those people that says, if it's God's will, I'll be sober on July the God. I know it's God's will. Who took my picture away? What are we looking at, people? Explore new tools. Choose from a variety of tools to get ideas on this page. Y'all are probably wishing that the speaker wasn't reading. Oh yeah, I have a Zoomer. Apparently the kindergartners are getting on. Did you guys see those drawings? I mean, like what? We're not even getting accurate depictions. Oh, good. It's on humility. Don't kick them out. I teach school. Nobody's funnier than I am. I tell the kids, we have a class clown and I work alone. So if you're a Zoom bomber, you picked the wrong meeting. Move along, people. Work a step. Stay. We're talking about humility. I also, very new to me now, is a four-legged newcomer. I just rescued her. She rescued me. We rescued each other about 3 weeks ago. Apparently, she's not ever been exposed to recovery, nor is she interested because she does not believe she's hit bottom in any area. So she'll be around here for just a minute. If I have to step aside for a second, it's under duress that I need to give her my attention. So, and the other thing I want to say before I say anything about the topic is that, please don't let the poverty of the messenger get in the way of the message. I used to introduce myself as, my name is Brenda. I'm a recovering lesbian, Hispanic, Catholic, alcoholic, drug addict, full-figured woman. See, y'all just got alcoholic because it's 7 a.m. But that is actually who I am. My message is all about, not only is there room for you in Alcoholics Anonymous, there is room for you in the chair next to mine. It says that the God experience is roomy and all inclusive. Y'all in trouble now. I just took my first sip of coffee. Woo! So there used to be this saying that used to go around Alcoholics Anonymous that if you talked about humility, you didn't have any. To those people, I would simply say in a very spiritual way, shut up. Humility is that thing that I gain from over and over and over understanding I cannot live my own life under my own power. I don't have enough. I can point myself in the direction that I want to go. Oh, wait, I was going to apologize for the kind of messenger. So people, when I share and there's a line after, they're not all in line to say thank you. There are people in the line that come up and say, listen, we heard you were gay. You'll be on our prayer list. Here's a rosary. There are people who come up through the line that say, you really sound like a preacher, and that's not what we need in Alcoholics Anonymous. There's people that come up and say, why you got it? So what I'm saying is that everybody seems to have an opinion on what this looks like, but most of those people continue, as the philosopher Brene Brown says, those folks continue to stay in the stands. And I am far less concerned with what the people in the stands have to say than I am with the people in the arena. You're like, I don't like her. Why did I get up early? It's 1 o'clock where you are. Relax. Okay. So I'm lacking. I love this. It defines humility. It defines it so I can know whether I have it or not, whether I'm about that. Hey, y'all, I always like to check the people I start with. We're at 83. If we can get out of here with 63 people, we did great. And by we, I mean me. So whether or not I have humility, that's not like a trick question. That's not like something that I'm going to have to ask my sponsor. It says right here what the basic ingredient of humility. It says the basic ingredient of all humility is a desire to seek and do God's will. Well, if that's the criteria, I overshot. Now, the problem with seeking God's will is that it will show itself to me. If I seek God's will, I will become aware of what it is. But it didn't just stop there. It didn't say to seek God's will. It says to seek and do. Now that's where I need the power. I said I teach 12-year-olds because that's how old I was when I started drinking. So when I first started teaching, the information was new to all of us. I went on a job interview the morning of graduation, and the principal's like, "We will give you any job. What do you want to do here?" I said, "Who are the kids that nobody wants?" He said, "That'd be the sixth graders." I said, "I'll take them." I'm about to start my 18th year teaching sixth graders. Why? Because I needed somebody like me when I was 12. My first year that I had the kids, there's a test we give them here in Texas. I think it's the way we decide who goes to heaven. But you're supposed to like teach your whole year to get these little people to get ready for this test. Well, I didn't do any of that because I didn't know how to do any of that. And so the first day that I got these kids, I said, "What do y'all want to learn about?" One little dude says, "Airplanes." I'm like, "All right, everybody, get your computer out. Let's see what we can learn about airplanes." And every day they would just come. They didn't want to miss a day. I had a little girl who had dental surgery, and she came back with her little cheeks looking like she'd eaten a chipmunk. And I said to her, "Mama," I said, "why is she here?" She said she didn't want to miss anything. There used to be a rubber chicken on the fan. I put it there, and the kids are like, "Ma'am, what's that on the fan?" I'm like, "That's one of the kids from last year." And I taught the kids how to go out when it would start raining, because I was living out in West Texas and rain was precious. And when it would start raining, the kids would just automatically line up, and we would all go out into the field and get wet, and then go back to class and explain why our cold and flu season started way before everybody else's. But I taught those kids how to wake up. I poured everything I had into them, and then came the time. The district. Oh God, if anybody in that district ever finds this meeting or this tape, the district would send me like supplies and stuff I was supposed to be teaching, but I didn't know what it was. So we just stacked it in the closet because we were ready to take it out at a moment's notice. And so we had all this stuff. So then it came time for the kids to take the test, and they scored a perfect 100 in reading and math. Quite accidentally. Oh, and the school district asked me to come out and teach an in-service on how I did that in my first year. And I'm like, "Fabulous, that'd be great." So there was a whole bunch of teachers sitting in this auditorium. And since I didn't know what I was doing, I asked for questions first. I thought maybe the questions would help. And so some lady started asking about, how did you talk about the 6.5B something or other? Then I just stopped the questions. And I said, "Look, here's what happened. Before I took these children on as my students, I went and did my work. I did all of my work around the issues of abandonment. I did my work around my rage. I did my work around my devastation. I did my work so that when the kids brought that to class, it didn't frighten me. I had already done my work. So if you don't wake up every morning and this is who you want to be, if you don't wake up every morning, don't come to where the future comes to you every day. Go find something that makes you feel the way this makes me feel." They never asked me to teach another in-service again. Apparently, you're not supposed to give people permission to leave. I will be the first to tell you that even after 33 years of sobriety, there are things I cannot do alone. And they're not even the hard things. Sandy Beach used to say to me, first he said I could call him my friend, so I like to just throw that out there. He used to say to me, he said, Brenda, you know what the best kept secret in AA is? And I'm like, I'm ready. Go. He said the best kept secret in Alcoholics Anonymous is that God will help you with the small stuff. So I have to understand for myself, where do I want to go today in my life that I can't get there on my own? And as it turns out, everywhere. I cannot talk about my alcoholism like it was something I had on July the 3rd of 1990. I woke up with it this morning. Tom, I used to say, he was 40 years sober at this time, and he'd say, if I woke up tomorrow morning and felt like having a drink, I would not be surprised. Nor would I be unprepared. So it's not that I am struggling. Listen, I'm not making the same mistakes I was when I got here. I am making a whole new mistakes. That's a good judge of whether or not there's movement. And I know that, look, I'm going to switch to page 2 because there's like 4 people on page 1 that have started frowning at me. No, sir. Nope, not at this hour. All right, page 2 picked it up. All right, we're on page 2 now. And so what does that take? What does that take for me to, what I don't want you to hear me say is that after 33 years, I'm still the same person I was when I got here. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. I have subjected every area of my life, every relationship I engage in, every time I succeed, every time I feel, I have held that all up to the light of the Spirit. And God has restored me. I am a woman this morning who is awake, who is sober, who is committed, who is joyful, and I'm not getting anything I want. People aren't doing the things that I have suggested, even when I put it on the index card and color code it. Don't worry, I belong to the other program as well. I can't afford to come on Zoom and pretend like I don't have work to do when I'm not on Zoom. I usually only speak twice in a month. And folks ask me, that's why people have to wait so long. I only speak twice in a month. And the reason I do that is because the other 28 days, I got to go be who I told you I was. And so I want to take a minute. If we were going to take a minute. And at the top of whatever paper I'm writing on, write the 3 things I'm trying to do in my life today that I don't have the capacity for. And the reason that I need to keep these things in front of me is because then if I hear a speaker, I know that they're talking to me about my life. But if I don't have anything I want to apply the knowledge to, I will just think that the speaker needs to calm the hell down at 7 in the morning. I'm supposed to be asleep right now. This is what y'all get for waking me. So the question becomes, how do I get humility? I know what it is now. It's the basic ingredient. The basic ingredient is to seek and do God's will. The question is, how do I get it? I can see there's some value. It's all over the literature, so it must be true. The steps talk about it over and over in the big book, in the 12 and 12, in all of the literature talks about having humility. I need to know how to get it. And the one component for me that is essential in the attainment of humility is the capacity to welcome the truth. If I do not have the capacity to welcome the truth, humility is out of the question. I'm not going to lie. When I first started practicing telling the truth and being in a relationship with God, I would like turn over the things I didn't care about how they turned out. just to see how she did with it. I would just lay out, God, hey, good morning, or wherever you are, apparently in the UK. Just wanted to let you know I'm gonna go ahead and surrender what the starch does to my blouses and dry cleaning them. So I'm gonna turn that over to you. You got 30 days. We're gonna revisit in 30 days and see how you've done with that. But yeah. Well, after 30 days, I was looking all fly, people. My shirts were looking all, the thing from the dry cleaner, the plastic bags, it was fabulous. So I was so confident in what God had done with that the next thing I turned over was my money. So I say, God, you did great with the dry cleaning. Good job. Now I'm going to give you all the affairs that have to do with money in my life. They're all yours. And I just should probably tell you up front, I don't actually have any money for you to start with, but I have full confidence that you're going to figure that out. That'd be great. All right, good. And I kid you not, I looked down at the ledger of my finances on that day, and we were in the red. But after I made it God's business, we moved into the black. So you'd sit there this morning and go, how? Because my job is to ask God for help and get out of the way. That's the point. That's the part I was missing. Ask God for help and get out of the way, Brenda. I needed to, as a friend of mine says, I needed to take myself out of one of the possible solutions to the problems in my life. There was a solution of surrender. There was a solution of hope. There was a solution of God. There's a solution of love. There cannot be a solution of Brenda, because I will pick it as my default and I'll disguise it as I'm not trying to be controlling and all that. I'm trying to help God. I'm trying to help God. The dude is busy. You see how those people over there have been misbehaving and they need help? God's over there. I'll take care of it. So everything look, if you forget everything else, I want you to remember this, because it is the God honest truth. Every single time that I ask God for help, He helps me. Every single time, 100% accuracy rate. That every time I ask God for help, God helps me. And that was new, because the voice in my head, when I used to have to ask for help before, I'm going to clean up the language, but what I heard back from my own mind was, see, told you couldn't do it. You're not going to amount to anything. You don't have any way to get anywhere in your life. It's a complete and total failure. You were given a good opportunity and you messed it up. And now I don't know how you're going to fix it. And so when I took it to God, I expected the same response. And what happened was that I took it to God and God said, hi, no problem. I got it. I said, well, I'm going to surrender my ego. He's like, I'll take care of it. No problem. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do now if I surrender my family and my work and my money and my future and my past and my truth? If I surrender all of that to God, now we have to think about this seriously, people. If I surrender all of that to God, what am I supposed to do on Sunday? And apparently all Sunday, because I'm going to be awake for most of it now. Thank you again. I'm slowly moving toward letting that go. I know you can't see it with the naked eye, but I am. What am I supposed to do now? And so I asked God, I'm like, if you need an assistant, I have an apron. Shut up. I don't cook, but girl, I got aprons for everything because I think I'm supposed to assist everybody. God's like, first, take that apron off. You be hating on my first, take the apron off, Brenda. And I'm gonna tell you what you're supposed to be doing while I'm doing this. I would welcome you. I'm gonna extend you the invitation, Brenda, of going out into the world and into your life today and be happy and be joyous and be free. I'm like, all right, but what am I going to do after that hour is over? Do it again. Go out into the world and be happy and be joyous and be free. In the seventh step, I pray that God remove all my difficulties, not because I'm the poster child, not because I deserve it, not because I'm special. I ask God to remove the difficulties in my life so that I can bear witness of the way and the manner and the dimensions of by which God loves me. The dimensions, the power of God, and the certainty and the peace and the love that I experience in his way of life. Now, if I were you and I was on this meeting, first, I would tell myself to calm the hell down. Everybody hydrate. Hydration stuff. I love y'all so much. Who's that took a big old drink? Lucy, girl, I saw you turn that up. Look, she like that. Good girl, love it. Hey, so first I would tell me to calm the hell down. And then I would decide that apparently Brenda must live in some sort of mansion. She must have money to make her feel secure like that. She probably has really moving, touching relationships with her siblings. And she probably hasn't had to struggle the way I have. Well, about the money thing, I did mention that I was a teacher, right? The only raise I'm getting this summer is in my dosage. I'm gonna raise my dosages on some stuff. Look, God made me the kind of person that didn't need money to be okay and then didn't give me any. I live in a little house behind somebody else's house, and I call it Narnia. My brother died. I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers. I'm still mad at God because I told him he took the good one and left me the dummy. I call him dummy, but in a very loving way. When my brother died, we had already lost my father and had already lost my mother. And so when my brother died, it was the first of the 9 of us. I saw what grief does to people who don't have a program. I've seen some of my brothers and sisters since then. And now I know what it looks like to be malnourished spiritually. And so all the things I thought I needed to be able to trust God. There's a woman that invited me to stop by her house on a way to something work-wise when I was living somewhere else. Anyway, she says, hey, on the way there, can I stop by my house? And I said, sure. And we walked into this house and I'm like, Good for you. Good for you that you got this. I didn't say that out loud because that would have been appropriate for me to point it out that we walked into the mansion, the mansion. Anyway, she had like this beautiful artwork and they had one of those little lights. You know, it's beautiful when it has a little light hanging over it, right? So I don't have those at my house, but I'm gonna try and put little lights anyway because they're precious to me. Anyway, so it was full, and then there were these cases, and it had little artwork in it, and she would tell me the name of the artist. I'm like, that's just fabulous. That must have been one of his better days. And I'm just like, and then out of my mouth came this question, and even I was horrified. Out of my mouth came the question when I'm looking at this painting. I said, how many of these do you need to not need God? Oh, holy. I said, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that I said that. I will be outside. I'm gonna go. I am so sorry that I said that. And she started laughing. And she said, apparently one more than what I have. That's what I was trying to do, was figure out how to have enough of the things that I needed so that I didn't need God. Over and over and over, it's about saying to God, not this is where I want to go, but to say to God, I want to go where you need me, and I need for you to give me the power to get there. I can't get there by myself. I can't love this person you sent me by myself. I can't move in the world with grace and hope and gratitude without you in my life. So it isn't about, after all, it's not about surrender. It is about surrendering the things I yearn for, the things I think I need and can't trust a God. And I'm here to report that every single thing I have surrendered to God has been completely and totally restored. I came here with a story about being broken. And as my other author friend says, I was broken open, and in some ways I've stayed broken and I have stayed open. Nobody has more information about who I am than I do. People used to ask me all the time, newcomers, when do I start the steps? Or sponsors would say, when should my sponsees start the steps? I'm like, I don't know. How many horsemen do they see? There's 4 of them. If you see all 4, start yesterday. Look, I know I've been messing around and all my little shenanigans, but I want you to know that I know the day that I was going to die. Not everybody gets afforded the opportunity to know that, but I know the day that I was going to die. And the day that I was going to die was on July 4th of 1990. That was the day that I was originally scheduled to die. And the reason I know is because I found you on July 3rd. I'll just tell you the story. I don't know where I am time-wise, but I'm just going to tell you the story. A few years ago was in a position in my marriage where I felt like I was led to ask for a divorce. Now, I had spent my entire life building hopes and people and miracles and enough so that I get to my own life and find the first thing I have to dismantle is my marriage. And in the course, that's all you'll ever hear me say about my divorce because I never want you to think of my ex-wife as anything other than the precious child of God that she is. But I lost my dog. And I finally done enough step work not to be more embarrassed to tell you I miss my dog a lot. And I remember when I got home and Sophie was gone, and I sat. This is with 30 years sober. I sat on the floor of my kitchen, weeping as if I'd lost my own soul, frantically searching through my bags to find my phone to call my sponsor. And I would go to therapy, would keep my meetings. Oh, she hears me crying. It's okay, darling. Come here. It's okay, mommy's okay. I love you. All right. Thank you. Thank you, baby. Um, so I would go to therapy and I would go to my sponsor. And I'd say, I'm willing to do whatever work is in front of me, but Sophie's off the table. It took a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of tears. And you're like, well, thank God you've recovered, because this is what recovery looks like in that area. And I gave up. I gave up looking for another dog. My friends would try. Look, I got a friend, Paula P from Champaign, Illinois. When y'all see her next time, she was ready to commit a felony. When I told her my dog was gone, she's like, we ride at dawn. Let's go steal her back. And before I knew it, I'm like, okay, do you want me to fly where you are and then we'll fly together? No, I should go from here. And I'm like, wait a minute, we are contemplating a felony with all these years of sobriety that we have. We should probably call one of our sponsors. And things would happen, and I would try and finally get to a place where I could have another dog, and then it would fall apart. And then one day I'm on a phone with some little kid that I'm helping work through some stuff. And he sends me a picture of himself, and he's holding the dog. And my 4-year-old, my younger self, looked at that dog and went, there's my dog. And I asked the young man I was visiting with, I said, whose dog is that? He said, it's my mom's. She's been trying to get rid of it. Tell your mama I'm 6-hour drive away. I'm on my way. And I went and picked her up that weekend. I've had her for 3 weeks. She's not in recovery. She don't have the books. She thinks she can just pee and poop wherever she wants. They had her inside all the time, so when I take her outside, she's not quite sure what that's supposed to be about. So I'll have her out there for 30 or 40 minutes, and then she'll come pee in the house. So I live with a 4-legged newcomer who wags her tail every time she sees me, who has changed my life. I'm going to stop playing with my dog in a minute. So I say that all to you to tell you what her name is. Her name is Mia. In Spanish, that means mine. I live with everything that because of God's goodness is all mine. All the joy is mine. Look, because all the money belonged to God and I belong to God, so all the money belonged to me. Apparently, it's in your bank account. I don't know. All the planes belong to God. I belong to God, so all the planes belong to me. I am a child of the Creator. And I'm going to stop there. I'm just going to tell you that if this was going to be your last day here, if you were going to come to just one more meeting and then it's over and I'm not just talking to people who are new, I'm talking to folks that have been here for a minute. If this was going to be your last day here, I want you to know that if you opt for that way out, you're going to miss the ending, and the ending is spectacular. I pray that all of God's love be mine. I pray that all of God's love is yours. I pray that all of God's love is with us all, this God, or something better. That's it. That's all I have. Thanks be to God. Woo. You're too kind.